Welcome to Pink Blade. Here, we don't just watch stories, we step inside them. Today, we're diving deep into Bridgerton Season 2, Episode 2.
Off to the races.
That is the one. And, looking at the stack of notes we have in front of us today, it's a lot.
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge. We've got production trivia, deep dives into character psychology, costume analysis, and some very, very heated fan debates. It feels like we're about to run a marathon ourselves.
Well, it is a dense episode. I think people tend to remember the pretty dresses, the lingering stares.
Of course.
But if you actually pull back the layers and look at the architecture of the storytelling here, this is the engine room. This is where the entire season gets its power.
I really felt that. It feels like the moment the show stops pretending to be this polite period drama and it starts showing its teeth. So, our mission today is to strip away that beautiful pastel aesthetic and look at the mechanics underneath. We're going to dissect the very real financial desperation of the Sharma family, the specific trauma response that is driving Anthony Bridgerton, and why a scene about horse betting is quite possibly the most honest conversation in the entire series so far.
And we absolutely have to talk about the dharma of it all, but we'll get there.
You will. So let's start with the world, the battlefield, really. You have this phrase in your notes that I love, the social ecosystem as a high-stakes economy. I think for a casual viewer, the London high society just looks like an endless series of parties. Why do you call it an economy?
Because at the end of the day, it is one. We had to define the ton accurately. It isn't just a social club where everyone has a nice time. It is a completely closed market.
A closed market.
Yes. And the commodity being traded is marriageable women. The currency is title, lineage, reputation.
Which all sounds incredibly cynical.
It is, but it's historically accurate cynicism. And this episode really stops being subtle about it. Look at the Sharma family. To the naked eye, Kate Sharma just seems like an overprotective, maybe slightly abrasive older sister.
Right. She seems a little difficult.
But if you dig into the subtext that the episode gives us, her behavior isn't a personality quirk. It is survival tactic.
This is what you're calling the Sharma stakes.
Precisely. We find out in this episode that Kate is carrying this massive, almost nuclear secret. She has struck a deal. It's about the Sheffield inheritance.
Her mother's parents.
Exactly. Lady Mary's parents, the Sheffields. They cut her off completely when she married a clerk, a man with no title. But they've made an offer if, and this is a very big if, Edwina marries a man of title.
A proper English lord.
Yes. Then a trust fund unlocks. That's their only path to security.
And if she doesn't? If she marries for love or marries someone without a title?
Destitution. And I don't mean, we have to sell the second carriage poor. I mean, out on the street, poor, ruin. So when you see Kate grilling suitors or, manipulating situations behind the scenes,
Yeah.
you have to understand there's a ticking clock in her head. She is not trying to ruin Edwina's fun. She is trying to prevent the absolute financial collapse of her entire family. Every single interaction is a high-wire act with no safety net below.
Which makes Edwina's role as the diamond so much heavier. And for anyone who might be new to this, the diamond is the debutante that Queen Charlotte picks as the season's most flawless, most desirable young woman.
It's supposed to be a golden ticket.
Right. But here, it feels like a curse.
It's a huge burden. Being the diamond makes Edwina public property.
Yes.
She's a prize, yes, but she's also a pawn in so many different games. The Queen's, Lady Danbury's, and especially Kate's. She has zero margin for error.
Yeah.
If she slips up, if she says the wrong thing or dances with the wrong man,
It's not just embarrassment.
it's the end of the line. She could destroy the family's only chance at solvency. It adds this incredible layer of anxiety to every single smile she has to fake.
Okay, so that's the seller's side of the table. Let's talk about the buyer. Lord Anthony Bridgerton. The Viscount.
The Viscount.
And in this episode, he's a lot. He's interviewing potential wives like he's hiring a mid-level manager for a company.
It's brutal to watch.
It's so easy to just write him off as arrogant, as this entitled aristocrat. But the sources we've looked at, they all point to something much, much darker driving him.
You have to look at his relationship with time. There's a very specific visual motif in this episode, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
His father's watch?
His father's watch.
Yeah.
He is constantly checking it.
Constantly. It's almost a tick.
And it's not about punctuality. It's not because he has another appointment. It's a trauma response. We know his father, Edmund, died suddenly from a bee sting, right in front of a young Anthony. And Anthony has deeply internalized this belief. It's a certainty to him, really, that he will also die young.
He thinks he's living on borrowed time.
He is convinced his time is running out. So when he's rushing through these dates, being rude, being dismissive, it isn't because he's picky or arrogant. It's because he is panicked.
So it's a race.
It is a literal race against his own perceived death.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to find a wife, secure an heir, secure a spare, to ensure the Bridgerton family line survives before his own internal clock runs out. He isn't looking for love. He's actually terrified of love.
Because love means loss. He's seen it firsthand.
Exactly. He's looking for a functional replacement for his mother, someone to manage the household and raise the children after he's gone.
Wow. That completely recontextualizes his arrogance, doesn't it? He's not a snob. He is a man in the middle of a chronic low-grade panic attack that has lasted for a decade.
Correct. And the show brilliantly literalizes this whole marketplace feeling by taking us out of the ballrooms and to the Royal Ascot, to the races.
Which is the perfect segue. Let's talk about the hook of this episode. This is where the season really pivots, isn't it? We go from the drawing room to the racetrack. Why is this shift so important for the story right now?
It's what I'm called a shift to high-velocity conflict.
Mm-hmm.
The premiere was all about setting the board. Polite introductions, bowing, curtsying, sizing everyone up.
The opening moves in a chess game.
Exactly. Off to the races is where the pieces start to collide. This is where the enemies to lovers trope really truly starts its engine and starts revving.
You can feel that shift in energy. It just stops being polite. The gloves come off.
Because Anthony and Kate finally stop pretending. I mean, think about it. Up until this point, everyone handles Anthony with kid gloves because he's the powerful Viscount. No one challenges him. Kate is the very first person in a long time to look him in the eye and just say, no.
And that just drives him absolutely crazy.
It short-circuits his brain. It confuses him, but on some level, it also stimulates him. This is what we were talking about, the magnetism of hate. It's not romance yet, not even close. It's recognition.
Recognition, what do you mean?
He sees someone who is his equal.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony is pursuing Edwina, who is, on paper, perfect. She's compliant, she's beautiful, she's the diamond, but he keeps getting pulled into the orbit of Kate, who is the obstacle.
Because she's the only one who is actually operating on his level.
They are mirrors of each other. It's almost uncanny. Both are eldest siblings. Both have been parentified by trauma. Both are sacrificing their own happiness for what they believe is the good of their families. So when they fight, it's not just bickering. It's two people recognizing the same damage in the other person. And that's why the chemistry is so incredibly volatile.
Okay, let's deep dive into that chemistry by breaking down what has to be the centerpiece scene of the whole episode, the royal races.
The arena.
Yes. Visually, this scene is just stunning. You have the bright sunlight, the pastel dresses, these beautiful open fields. But the dialogue is pure acid.
It's a masterpiece of visual storytelling, really. You have this incredibly polite high society setting, but the subtext is all-out war. And the symbolism of the horses is something I think a lot of viewers might miss on the first watch.
Okay, break that down for us. Anthony bets on a horse named Nectar.
Right. Nectar is the favorite. It's got the pedigree. It's the safe, statistical, logical choice. Nectar, in this analogy, represents Edwina.
The perfect choice on paper.
Exactly. Anthony looks at the data sheet, the breeding, the reputation, the odds, and he decides this is the logical winner. That's how he's choosing a wife.
And Kate, she goes a different way.
Kate bets on High Flyer.
The long shot.
The complete underdog. The horse that's a bit temperamental, bit wild. And Kate chooses High Flyer based on pure observation. She watches the horse's mood. She reads the track conditions. She trusts her gut. High Flyer, of course, represents Kate herself.
Or at least the unconventional wisdom that she values so much.
Yes. And of course,
High Flyer wins.
High Flyer wins, which is the show basically screaming at the audience. Anthony's logic is flawed. You cannot create an algorithm for life or for love. Instinct will beat data every single time. But the most important moment in that whole scene, it isn't even the race itself. It's the conversation right after. It's the Trojan horse line.
Oh, I love this line so much. Kate looks him dead in the eye and says, "Your character is as deficient as your horsemanship."
Devastating.
And then she calls his charm a Trojan horse.
It's such a brilliant, cutting critique.
Mm-hmm.
What she's telling him is, I see what you were doing. The flowers, the smiles, the witty banter. It's not real. It's an infiltration tactic. She identifies his charm as a weaponized tool he's using to get past her defenses to reach the real prize, which is Edwina.
She just strips him naked, metaphorically. She denies him the ability to hide behind the charm of the Viscount.
And look at how he reacts. He doesn't laugh it off. He doesn't have a clever comeback. He gets desperate. He realizes he can't charm her, so he immediately decides to play dirty. He brings in Mr. Dorset.
His old friend from Oxford. He basically just throws Dorset at Kate like a distraction.
It's a really low moment for Anthony. He treats his own friend like a tool and Kate like a nuisance that needs to be managed. His entire thought process is, if I can just occupy the sister for 5 minutes, I can get alone with Edwina and close the deal. It highlights that feral desperation we talked about earlier. He'll do anything to win.
But it backfires on him so spectacularly because Kate and Dorset actually seem to hit it off. They have things in common.
Which Anthony absolutely hates. You can see him just twitching in the background watching them. But ultimately, Kate figures out the deception. And for her, this just confirms her worst fears. Anthony Bridgerton is deceitful. He is hollow. He treats people like objects in his game.
Which leads us perfectly to his next attempt to prove that he has a soul. The soiree.
The infamous poetry reading, or as I like to call it, the failure of artifice.
This was it was painful to watch. Anthony decides he needs to impress Edwina with his depth and his sensitivity, so he's going to read a poem. But
he didn't write it. He couldn't write it. He had to go to Benedict, his artistic brother, and basically say, I need some pretty words, give me a script.
What does that tell us about Anthony's headspace at this moment?
It shows his profound emotional illiteracy. It's fascinating. He views poetry not as an expression of a genuine feeling, but as an input code. He thinks, if I input poetry, the output I will get is wife.
It's a transaction.
It's a complete transaction. He cannot access those feelings himself, so he literally outsources them to his brother.
And while everyone else in the room is just swooning because the handsome, wealthy Viscount is reading Byron or whoever Benedict channeled for him, Kate is in the corner, and she is not buying it for 1 second.
Her face is a stone wall. She just sees the performance. To her, it's just more evidence that this man is a complete and utter fraud.
But then the mask slips. We get that hallway confrontation after the party. Kate is storming out. Lady Danbury tries to intervene, but then Anthony is there. And Kate just drops the pretense. She says that line, I do not care what a single person here thinks of me.
That line is the absolute key to her entire character. Because it is a lie.
It is.
Of course it is. She cares so deeply. She is terrified of failing her family. She's terrified of being judged. But she has built this incredible armor, this persona of the independent spinster to protect herself. The logic is, if she pretends she doesn't care, then no one can hurt her.
And then they have what the fans call the glare.
The glare. We have to talk about the physical acting in this moment. They are standing inches apart, furious with each other, breathing heavily. And you realize that in a room full of hundreds of people pretending to be polite, they are the only two people being real, even if that reality is pure hostility.
It's strangely intimate.
That's the perfect word for it. It's intimate. Hate is not the opposite of love. Indifference is. This level of focused, intense, all-consuming emotion, that is intimacy. They are truly seeing each other for the first time without any of the masks.
Speaking of masks and armor, let's pivot for a second to the behind-the-scenes notes, because the visual language of this episode tells its own story, specifically through the costumes.
Oh, absolutely. The costume team, which was led by Sophie Canale, was very, very specific about this phase of the season. We were in what they call the dark phase.
I noticed that Anthony is wearing a lot of black and dark navy.
Almost exclusively. It's meant to symbolize his internal rigidity. He's still in mourning, in a way. He's serious. He is weighted down by his duty. He hasn't lightened up yet, either emotionally or fartorially.
And Kate, her outfits are beautiful, but they look heavy.
They are. Heavy fabrics, velvets, stiff silks, very high necklines, tight silhouettes. She is physically restricted by her clothing in the exact same way she is restricted by her secret about the Sheffield Trust. As the season progresses and they both start to unravel a bit, the fabrics get lighter, the colors get softer. But here, in episode 2, there are two armored tanks circling each other.
The sheer scale of the production is just mind-boggling. I read in the notes that there are over 7,000 bespoke, handmade pieces created for the show.
It's incredible. They're all stored in a warehouse the size of a football field. It's less a costume department and more an industrial operation to create this fantasy world.
And the music. We cannot skip over the music. The soundtrack of stress, as you put it. Bridgerton is famous for its string quartet covers of modern pop songs. And in this episode, we get a Nirvana cover.
Stay away, of all songs.
Which plays during Anthony's montage of just awful dates.
And it is a stroke of genius. Think about the energy of Nirvana. It's grunge, it's aggressive, it's frantic. The string arrangement somehow captures that frantic, almost angry energy. It perfectly mimics Anthony's internal state. He isn't having fun dating. He is conducting a series of high-stress job interviews while simultaneously having a panic attack. The music is telling us this man is not okay.
And then on the other side of that, we get Diamonds, the Rihanna cover, during the Queen's selection of the diamond.
That one is more on the nose, but it's just as effective. It emphasizes the commodification of these women. Shine bright like a diamond. It sounds celebratory, but in this specific context, it just highlights that these women are objects to be appraised. They are jewels in the Queen's crown, not people with their own desires.
There's some really fun technical secrets in the notes as well. The netball trick. What is that?
Ah, yes. This comes from the intimacy coordinators on set. In scenes where the actors need to be incredibly close to each other to build that electric sexual tension without actually touching, they would sometimes place a half-inflated netball between their bodies, just out of shot.
So when Anthony and Kate are glaring at each other in that hallway, there might be a deflated sports ball wedged between them.
It's possible. It creates physical resistance. It allows them to lean into each other's space without collapsing into each other. It's a technical way to physically manifest that magnetic push and pull we keep talking about.
And for the animal lovers out there, the horses were repeat cast members.
They were. Jonathan Bailey, who plays Anthony, apparently got very attached to his horse in season 1. So the production team made sure to bring back the same horses for the same actors in season 2, just so they would feel comfortable and confident in the writing scenes.
That's a nice touch.
It helps sell the idea that these characters were practically born in the saddle,
Unlike the flowers on set.
which are all 100% fake. Every single wisteria bloom you see, every rose in every vase, they're all silk and plastic. Real flowers would wilt and die under the hot studio lights in an hour.
Which is actually kind of fitting, isn't it? For a show about the beautiful artifice of society.
It really is. A perfect, beautiful, and completely artificial world.
Let's get into the heads of the people who actually made this. The creator and actor insights for this episode really shed light on why this dynamic between Kate and Anthony works so well. Jonathan Bailey used a very specific, very intense word to describe Anthony's obsession with Kate.
He used the word feral. He described it as something animalistic. It's not about polite society or intellectual connection. It's about base senses. Smell. Sight. He smells her scent. The show specifies lilies and soap. And his rational brain just short circuits. In this episode, watch how he physically invades her space. He's like a predator that is completely confused by its prey.
It's instinctual.
It's pure instinct. It's not polite.
And Simone Ashley, who plays Kate, she brought up a cultural concept that I think is absolutely essential for understanding the Sharma family, the concept of dharma.
Yes, this is crucial. For those who aren't familiar, dharma is a key concept in Indian philosophy and religion. It's complex, but it relates to one's duty, to cosmic law, to right behavior.
So how does that apply to Kate's actions in this episode?
Well, without this context, Kate just looks stubborn, maybe even cruel to her sister at times. But if you view her actions through the lens of dharma, she is fulfilling a sacred familial duty. She is the elder sister. It is her spiritual and social obligation to ensure her family survives and thrives. Her self-sacrifice isn't a martyr complex, it's her dharma.
So her rigidity is actually righteousness.
Exactly. When you understand that, her inflexibility makes perfect sense. She feels she cannot fail, because failing would be a violation of the entire cosmic order of her family.
That gives her so much more depth. Wow. Okay, now, we can't ignore the people watching this at home. The fan reactions to Off to the Races were loud.
Deafening is the word I would use.
Obviously, the Canthony chemistry, as the fans call it, was the big headline.
Oh, immediately. Fans immediately latched on to the fact that the argument at the races was the most romantic thing that had happened on the show so far. The consensus was basically, I don't care about the polite ballroom dancing. I want more of them yelling at each other about horse betting.
People love passion, even if it's angry passion.
Especially if it's angry passion. And that Trojan horse line became an instant classic. It was so cathartic for the audience to see someone finally puncture that famous Bridgerton ego.
However, there was also some significant heartbreak in the fandom this episode regarding a certain Mr. Colin Bridgerton.
Oh, Coleman. The crimes of the friend zone.
He comes back from his world travels. He's got a tan, some new facial hair, he's looking good, and Penelope is just so excited to see him, and then he just drops the hammer on her.
He tells her, in front of all his friends, "You're pen. You don't count."
Ouch! Just ouch.
Now, we have to be fair and parse this. In Colin's clueless, well-meaning head, he thinks he's paying her a massive compliment. He's just sworn off women. He's sworn off the drama of courtship. So in his mind, he's saying, you are different. You are safe. You are my special friend. You aren't part of that stressful game.
But to Penelope...
To Penelope, and to every single person listening who has ever had a crush on a friend, it said, like, you are not a woman to me. You are a piece of furniture I'm comfortable with.
It was a devastating blow. You just see her heart break.
Fans were screaming at their screens. It sets up their long-term angst perfectly, but wow, Colin really put his foot in his mouth there. It just goes to show that the Bridgerton men, generally, are not great at reading the room in this episode.
That is very true. But his sister, Eloise, had a moment that fans really rallied behind.
Yes, her detective work. She escapes the suffocating atmosphere of the diamond selection and finds her way to a print shop. And she meets Theo Sharp,
A working-class printer's apprentice.
and an intellectual equal. Fans absolutely love this because Eloise finally found someone who speaks her language. Everyone else in her world talks about ribbons and gossip. Theo talks about rights and radicalism. It was such a breath of fresh air.
So we've looked at the plot, the production, the acting, the fan reaction, but what does this all mean? If we zoom out, what is the big thematic question that Off to the Races is asking?
I think the central question of this episode is, what is the price of honesty in a world that is built on performance?
That's good, because everything in the ton, every single thing is a performance.
Everything. Society is built on artifice. Being the diamond is a performance. The entire season is a performance. The whistle-down papers are a performance. And in episode 2, we really see the cost of trying to be real in that world.
Anthony tries a version of honesty, doesn't he?
He tries what I would call practical honesty. He tells the women on his dates, I don't need love, I need a sensible wife, I am being practical. He thinks he's being honest, but he's actually lying.
How so?
Because he's using the word practicality to hide his profound fear. He isn't being practical, he's being cowardly. He is so terrified of grief that he's rebranding that fear as duty. It's a lie he tells himself.
And Kate, what's her lie?
Kate tries protective honesty. She says, I am doing all of this to save my sister. And that is true on one level, but it's also a lie she tells herself to deny her own wants and needs. She pretends she doesn't want love, doesn't want passion, doesn't want to be seen, and she definitely pretends she doesn't want Anthony.
So they're both liars in their own ways.
They are, and they're lying to themselves most of all. And the episode leaves us with this incredible simmering tension. How long can they keep up the act? Because we know, just as viewers of stories, that denied desire doesn't just go away. It acts like steam in a boiler. It just builds pressure and builds pressure.
And eventually that boiler has to explode.
Precisely. And off to the races is the sound of the pressure gauge needle hitting the red zone.
It's not just a horse race then. It's a race against their own true natures. And a spoiler alert for all of human psychology, nature usually wins.
Always.
Well, that is a wrap on our deep dive into the high-stakes, high-stress, and very high-fashion world of Bridgerton Season 2, Episode 2. We survived the races, the poetry, and the glare of the Viscount.
Just barely.
Thanks for listening to Pink Blade. If this episode revealed something new, you can follow to explore the next chapter. And if a moment stayed with you, share it in the comments. Until next time, this is Pink Blade.